Hello, I'm Ed Paradiso, and I'd like to welcome you to Blue Grotto. Blue Grotto is Florida's largest accessible clear water cavern dive. Over the next few minutes, I'll be going over a dive briefing with you to help you safely formulate a dive plan. When you first walk down to the water, you'll see our floating dock. A floating dock is supported by styrofoam, and we ask that you do not leave your equipment unattended on the floating dock. It may get in the way of other divers down there, so we ask if there's plenty of picnic tables and pavilions. If you want to use dive rugs, that's fine. And please do not leave your dive gear on the floating dock. On the right-hand side of the floating dock, you'll see an entrance pool. The entrance pool is approximately 4.5 feet deep. That will give you an area where you can enter and exit the water without getting your fins close to or on the bottom. It's one thing we try to make you aware of is the bottom conditions here. The bottom is very soft and silty, and if you get your fins anywhere near it, it will disturb very easily. Even 5 feet off the bottom, treading water will disturb the bottom and cause silting conditions and diminish our visibility. Once you leave our entrance pool, we have 5 ascent lines that lead to 3 platforms. 3 platforms are in the open water section of the spring basin. The purpose of the platforms is to give you an area where you can stand or kneel on the bottom without disturbing it. If you are here under instruction, your instructors are responsible for you. What they're going to tell you and what we're going to tell you is in no way, shape, or form to undermine their authority. They're required to teach within the parameters of their individual certification agency. We're just giving you a generalized dive briefing on this particular site to aid in the formulation of a safe dive plan. If your instructors wish for you to wear an excessive amount of weight or a little more weight than what we recommend, that's fine with us. However, if you are diving in the cavern or you're here on your own making a cavern dive, we strongly recommend that you do not wear any more than 12 pounds of lead. If you wear too much lead, it'll pull your waist down and it'll prevent you from getting into the proper dive position for cavern diving. If your feet are down at any point you start kicking, this will disturb the bottom and diminish our visibility. For those of you who are not here under instruction, it is best to swim to the forward ascent line, pull yourself down the ascent line to get to our forward platform. By the time you get to our forward platforms, you'll be in approximately 33 to 34 feet of water. Anything forward of the forward platforms is overhead environment. Overhead environment means that you do not have free and direct access to the surface. Because you do not have free and direct access to the surface, you have lost your independent option of free air swimming ascent. For this reason, it is imperative that you stay close to your buddy at all times. You are depending upon one another once you enter into overhead environment. Before you enter overhead environment, check your equipment. Make sure that you and your buddy are confident enough, physiologically and psychologically ready for overhead. Check your equipment. And last of all, check your air supply. Use no more than 1/3 of your air supply for penetration. Save 2/3 of your air supply for your retreat. And be completely out of overhead environment and back on our platforms with at least 1/3 or 1,000 psi remaining in your cylinder. Our guidelines enter the cavern. They'll go back to a depth of about 50 feet. From 50 feet, the guideline drops down a chimney to approximately 100 feet. At approximately 100 feet, the line will swing around again, as you can see on our plan view. The line enters the cavern, goes down to 50, drops down to approximately 100 feet. Around 100 feet, the line swings around, comes back up and out again. There's one continuous guideline which will take you on a peripheral tour of the cavern. At a depth of approximately 50 feet, we have a yellow polypropylene line. It interconnects the 2 guidelines. That would be right about here on our section view. The yellow line, or 50 feet, is our maximum recommended depth and penetration for open water divers. We strongly recommend that you stay in the upper 50 feet of the cavern. Anything below 50 feet or past the yellow line is an advanced dive because of the depth and penetration. In the upper 50 feet of the cavern, you do not need a dive light during daylight hours. Between ambient light from the entrance and our 1,000,000 candle power underwater prototype lighting system, The upper section of the cavern is very well lit. However, below 50 feet, you would need a dive light because you are looking down into the darkness. However, from a depth of approximately 100 feet, you can see the glow of light if you were to look back. Like I said, we recommend you stay in the upper 50 feet of the cavern. If you go below 50 feet, anytime you are below 50 feet, keep one hand on the guidelines at all times. If you were to get off the guideline, you would get into an area just beyond it where there is a bedding plane that is filled with black baby powder consistency silt. If you fin or wave your hand in this area back past the guideline, you would very rapidly go into zero visibility. If you go below 50, stay on the guidelines. On the right-hand side as you go in, you'll find a very large limestone boulder called Peace Rock. Someone carved a peace sign on this rock in the 60s. The farmer owned it, named it Peace Rock. You can stand or kneel on Peace Rock. Peace Rock is a natural platform. You can stand or kneel on any of our 3 platforms. Anywhere else, stay off the bottom and stay out of the mud. In the ceiling of the cavern, we have an air bell. Our air bell is constructed out of clear Lexian panels. It is approximately 6 foot in diameter, hexagonal in shape, and capable of supporting 4 to 6 divers comfortably. You can breathe the air in the air bell. The air in the bell is ventilated continuously from the surface while there are divers in the water. The air in the bell, however, is compressed air. Because the water pressure is pushing up underneath the bell, compressing it, time in the air bell is bottom time, and if you end up in the air bell in the event of an emergency, it is best to signal a buddy or someone else for an alternative air source rather than attempting a free air swimming ascent, because you are breathing compressed air. The lighting system is almost directly below the air bell. If you need to go to the bell in the event of an emergency, swim to the lights and go up. Time in the bell, like I said, is bottom time, so be cautious. You are breathing compressed air while you are in the bell. We suggest that you make the air bell your first stop on the way in, so you can familiarize yourself with its location and operation. There are some small tight holes around the edge of the cavern where the debris cone meets the ceiling. If it looks like you don't fit, you don't fit. Stay out of holes that you don't fit. They do not lead to larger rooms. There is no buried treasure in them. Stay out of the small, tight areas. They progressively get smaller and tighter, and it is possible for your gear to get hung up in them. Water temperature is 72 degrees from top to bottom. There are no thermoclines. There is no current. The visibility can be up to 200 feet. If you can keep your fins away from the bottom, then the visibility will stay relatively clear. Again, forward of the forward platforms is overhead environment. In overhead environment, keep an eye on your air supply. 1/3 your air in, 2/3 out. Be out with 1,000 or 1/3 of the air supply remaining in your cylinder. If you go below 50 feet, which we recommend open water divers not to do, stay on the guideline. Keep one hand on the guideline all times. Anytime you are below 50 feet, do not go into any small, tight areas. You should make the air bell your first stop on the way in so you can familiarize yourself with it. You can get on Peace Rock, you can get on our platforms. Anywhere else, stay off the bottom, stay out of the mud, stay out of the mud, and stay off the bottom. We hope that you have a safe and enjoyable time here at Blue Grotto, and if there's anything that I or any of my staff can help you with, please do not hesitate to ask.